My dear brothers and sisters, there comes a moment in every believer's life when the heart whispers, how much longer? You prayed. You cried in sujood. You waited through nights of silence and days of disappointment. You stayed patient when people walked away, when doors closed, when answers did not come. And sometimes you begin to wonder, does Allah see me? Yes. Wallahi, He sees you more clearly than you see yourself. Patience is not easy. If it were easy, everyone would have it. Patience is not the absence of pain. Patience is carrying pain with faith. It is smiling when the heart is tired. It is trusting Allah when logic fails. And remember this clearly, Allah never allows patience to go unpaid. There are people who waited for years before relief arrived. They thought they were forgotten, but in reality they were being prepared. Allah was shaping their hearts, strengthening their souls, and protecting them from things they could not see. What you call delay, Allah calls mercy. What you call loss, Allah calls protection. My dear listener, do not think your du'as went unanswered. Allah answers in three ways. He gives you what you ask for. He delays it for a better time. Or He replaces it with something far greater. And often the greatest rewards come after the longest patience. Sometimes Allah keeps you waiting because if He gave you what you wanted too early, it would have destroyed you. You were not ready then, but you are becoming ready now. Understand this. Hardship is not a punishment for the believer. It is purification. It washes sins, softens hearts, and raises ranks. The Prophet told us that even a thorn that pricks a believer removes sins. So imagine what months and years of patience are doing for your akhirah. There are moments when Allah tests you with silence. No signs, no changes, no visible help. But silence from Allah does not mean absence. It means something is happening behind the scenes. Seeds grow in the dark. A child grows in the womb unseen. And your relief is also growing, quietly, perfectly timed. Do not compare your journey to others. Some people receive early ease but later face heavy trials. Others endure difficulty early but are gifted peace later. Allah's plan is tailor-made. It fits your soul, your strength, your future. And remember, when Allah tests you for a long time, it is often because your reward is big, very big. Allah does not prepare small rewards with great patience. There will come a day, perhaps sooner than you think, when Allah will open a door so wide that you will forget how long it was closed. There will come a moment when you will say, Ya Allah, if you had answered me earlier, I would have missed this. That is the beauty of divine timing. Stay patient. Not because it is easy, but because Allah is worth trusting. Keep praying, even if your voice shakes. Keep hoping, even if tears fall. Keep doing good, even if no one notices. Allah notices everything. And let me remind you of this powerful truth. Allah's help often arrives suddenly. One phone call, one opportunity, one change in the heart, one night that turns your life around. And when it comes with peace, not chaos. So if you are tired today, do not give up. If you feel broken, do not lose hope. If you feel forgotten, remember, you are never forgotten by the one who created you. The time of patience is not wasted. The time of patience is building. And by Allah, the reward is coming. Maybe not how you imagine. Maybe not when you expected. But it will come in the best way, at the best time, from the best planner. Trust Allah. Hold on a little longer. Your sabr is about to bloom into reward. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the greatest misconceptions we struggle with is the idea that patience might go unnoticed. We sometimes feel that we endured quietly, that we swallowed our pain, that we controlled our anger. And yet nothing seemed to change. The heart begins to ask painful questions. What was the point of holding back tears, of restraining the tongue, of trusting Allah when everything within us wanted to give up? But understand this clearly and without doubt, patience is never wasted in the sight of Allah. Not a single moment of it disappears. Not a single tear falls without being counted. Not a single sigh escapes your chest without being recorded. Patience is not passive. It is an act of worship. When you choose not to respond with anger, when you choose faith over frustration, when you choose dua over despair, you are worshipping Allah in one of the most beloved ways. Many people can pray when life is easy, but patience is tested when life hurts. That is when sabr becomes heavy. And that is exactly why its reward is so great. Allah sees the nights when you lay awake, replaying your worries over and over, yet still whispered, Ya Allah, I trust you. He sees the moments when your heart was breaking, but your lips still said, Alhamdulillah. He sees when you were wronged but chose silence to protect your iman. People may not applaud your restraint. They may never know how close you were to giving up. But Allah knows, and that is enough. Sometimes we expect patience to bring immediate change. We think if we endure today, tomorrow must be easier. But patience does not always change your situation instantly. Sometimes it changes you first. It strengthens your heart, deepens your reliance on Allah, and removes attachments that were never meant to stay. Through patience, Allah teaches you who you truly need and who you never needed at all. Think of how many sins are erased through patience. The Prophet taught us that every hardship that afflicts a believer removes sins. So every delay, every disappointment, every moment of restraint is washing your record clean. What you see as suffering may be turning into light on the day of judgment. What you feel as loss may be turning into elevation in rank. On that day, when rewards are revealed, many will wish they had been patient longer in this world. Patience is not weakness. It is strength under control. Anyone can react, complain, or walk away from Allah when tested. But it takes a strong heart to remain connected when the road is long. It takes deep faith to trust Allah's wisdom when you do not understand His plan. And Allah loves this strength. He promises that He is with those who are patient, not just watching them, but supporting them, guiding them, and carrying them through what they could not survive alone. There are people who reach their breaking point and thought they could not go on, yet they are still here today. Why? Because Allah was carrying them when they had no strength left. Their patience became the bridge between despair and relief. And the same Allah who carried them is carrying you right now. Do not underestimate the value of quiet endurance. The patience you showed when no one was looking may be the very reason Allah opens doors you never imagined. The reward may come as peace in your heart, as unexpected ease, as answered du'as, or as immense reward in the hereafter. Sometimes Allah gives all of it. So hold on. Your patience is not invisible. It is written, preserved, and multiplied by the most just. When Allah finally unveils what your sabr earned, you will realize that nothing was wasted. Not the pain, not the waiting, and certainly not your trust in Him. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the hardest lessons for the human heart to accept is that delay does not mean rejection. When we ask Allah for something again and again, and the answer does not come when we expect it, we begin to feel ignored. Shaitan whispers that maybe you are not worthy, maybe your du'as are weak, maybe Allah has turned away from you. But this is a dangerous thought, because Allah does not deny without wisdom. Allah delays, but He never denies. We must understand that Allah is at Hakim, the most wise. His timing is not based on our emotions, our impatience, or our limited vision. His timing is based on knowledge of the unseen, of what is best for your dunya and your akhirah. You see only the moment you are standing in. Allah sees your entire life from beginning to end and even beyond. So when Allah delays something, it is not cruelty, it is care. There are things you ask for at one point in your life that if Allah had given them to you, then they would have harmed you. Relationships that would have distracted you from Allah. Success that would have filled your heart with arrogance. Ease that would have pulled you away from prayer. Allah delayed because He was protecting your iman. Sometimes the greatest mercy is unanswered dua in that moment. Think about a child asking a parent for something sharp or dangerous. The parent does not hate the child by saying no. The parent loves the child too much to give what would cause harm. In the same way, Allah withholds at times not because He dislikes you, but because He loves you more than you realize. He knows what will break you and He knows what will build you. When Allah delays, He is often preparing multiple things at once. He is preparing you to receive the blessing, preparing the blessing to reach you, and preparing the circumstances around it so that when it arrives, it stays. Many people receive things too early and lose them just as quickly. Allah wants your blessings to be lasting, not temporary, so He perfects the timing. Delay also increases reward. Every moment you wait with patience, every dua you repeat with hope, every tear you shed while still trusting Allah is being counted. Your reward is growing with time. What if Allah delayed because He wanted to give you more than what you asked for? What if He wanted your hands to be raised longer so that your rank could be raised higher? Sometimes Allah delays to draw you closer to Him. You prayed more when you were desperate. You spoke to Allah more honestly when you were broken. You relied on Him more deeply when no one else could help you. If Allah had answered quickly, would you have stayed this close? Would your heart have tasted this level of sincerity? Allah values your connection more than the thing you are asking for. And remember this, Allah's delay does not mean silence. Even when you see no change, Allah is working in ways you cannot see. He may be removing obstacles, softening hearts, changing directions, or protecting you from future pain. Just because you do not see movement does not mean nothing is happening. The unseen work of Allah is often far greater than what is visible. One day Allah will answer in a way that makes the delay make sense. You will look back and realize that if it had come earlier, it would not have been as beautiful, as meaningful, or as safe. You will say, Ya Allah, now I understand why you waited. So do not lose hope in the waiting. Keep asking, keep trusting, keep believing. Allah hears every dua and He records every tear. When the time is right, His answer will come with wisdom, mercy, and perfection. Because Allah may delay, but He never ever denies. My dear brothers and sisters, when hardship enters our lives, the first feeling that often follows is fear. The fear that Allah is displeased with us, that we are being punished, that we have somehow been abandoned. The pain becomes heavier not only because of the situation itself, but because of the thought that maybe Allah has turned away. But understand this deeply and clearly, hardship is not a sign of abandonment. Very often it is a sign of attention. If Allah had no care for you, He would leave you as you are. He would allow you to drift further away, comfortable in sin, distant from prayer, numb to remembrance. But when Allah loves a servant, He wakes their heart. Sometimes He wakes it with ease and sometimes He wakes it with difficulty. Both are forms of mercy, though one is wrapped in softness and the other in pain. The most beloved people to Allah were tested the most. The prophets, peace be upon them all, lived lives filled with trials. They were rejected, mocked, harmed, and pushed to their limits. Yet they were the closest to Allah. Their hardships were not signs of divine anger, they were signs of divine selection. Allah chose them to carry heavy tests because He knew their hearts could carry them. When you are tested, it often means Allah wants something better for you than what you are settling for. Hardship forces you to stop, to reflect, to turn back to Allah with sincerity. How many people only discovered the sweetness of dua when everything else was taken away? How many hearts softened only after being broken? Allah sometimes removes the support of the creation so that you finally lean fully on the Creator. Hardship also exposes reality. It shows you who truly cares, what truly matters, and where your heart is attached. In times of ease, it is easy to feel self-sufficient. In times of hardship, the illusion of control disappears. You realize how weak you are and how powerful Allah is. This realization is not meant to humiliate you. It is meant to purify you. True humility before Allah is a treasure that only trials can unlock. Do not think that your tears are ignored. Allah is closer to the brokenhearted than to those who feel complete. There is a special nearness that comes with vulnerability. When your voice cracks in dua, when your heart feels exposed before Allah, that is not a moment of weakness. It is a moment of closeness. Allah draws near to those who call upon Him sincerely, especially when they have nothing left but Him. Sometimes hardship comes as a warning, sometimes as a cleansing, and sometimes as an elevation. But never assume it is rejection. If Allah still gives you the ability to pray, to remember Him, to ask Him, then He has not turned away from you. Turning away would mean removing your desire for Him. As long as your heart still turns toward Allah, you are under His care. Hardship also reshapes your character. It teaches patience, empathy, and gratitude. Those who have suffered are often the most compassionate. Those who have cried understand the pain of others. Allah uses your struggle to make you a source of mercy for people around you. Your test is not only for you, it may be the means through which someone else finds hope. There will come a day when Allah will lift the hardship, or He will give you the strength that makes it feel lighter. And when that day comes, you will realize that the pain was not pointless. It refined you, it redirected you, it brought you closer to Allah than ease ever could. So if you are struggling today, do not conclude that Allah has left you. On the contrary, He may be drawing you nearer. Hardship is not proof of abandonment. Very often it is proof that Allah is paying attention to your heart, shaping it for something far greater than you can currently see. My dear brothers and sisters, many of us expect Allah's help to come with clear signs, loud changes, and visible miracles. We would wait for something dramatic to happen so that we can finally say, now I know Allah is helping me. But faith teaches us something deeper and more beautiful. Allah's reward often comes after silence, not signs. The silence is not emptiness. The silence is work in progress. There are phases in life when everything seems quiet, no doors opening, no clear answers, no sudden relief, just routine, repetition, and waiting. And in that silence, the heart becomes restless. You begin to question your worth, your du'as, and your patience. But what if that silence is not neglect? What if it is divine preparation? Allah does not always announce His plans. He does not need to warn you before changing your life. Often, while you think nothing is happening, everything is happening. Allah is rearranging matters in the unseen, aligning events, removing obstacles, and protecting you from outcomes you cannot imagine. Silence is not absence. Silence is subtlety. Think about how seeds grow. They grow underground, in darkness, in silence. If you dig them up every day to check progress, you will kill them. Growth requires trust. In the same way, Allah allows certain blessings to develop quietly so they are not destroyed by impatience, fear, or interference. What is meant for you will reach you, even if the journey is silent. There are times when Allah keeps you in silence because signs would overwhelm you. If you knew how close your relief was, you might stop striving. If you knew the outcome too early, your sincerity might change. Allah values the purity of your trust when there is no evidence. When faith stands alone without reassurance, that level of iman is precious in the sight of Allah. Silence also teaches contentment. It trains the heart to rely on Allah rather than on constant confirmation. Anyone can trust when things are improving visibly. But trusting Allah when nothing seems to change, that is where true faith lives. That is where patience matures and dependence deepens. Often, Allah's reward comes so quietly that you only recognize it later. A hardship ends, not with a celebration, but with calm. A pain fades slowly, without an announcement. A solution appears naturally, as if it was always meant to be there. And then one day you realize, I am no longer in that dark place. The silence carried you out without you noticing. Sometimes the reward is not a change in circumstances, but a change in the heart. You become stronger, calmer, less attached to what once controlled you. You stop begging people for understanding and start finding peace in Allah's nearness. That inner transformation is one of the greatest rewards, yet it often arises without signs or noise. Allah also uses silence to protect you from envy and harm. Not every blessing needs to be visible. Some of Allah's finest gifts are hidden, wrapped in privacy, safeguarded from eyes that do not wish you well. When Allah gives quietly, He protects what He gives. Do not rush Allah's plan just because you do not hear movement. Mountains form silently, hearts heal silently, destiny shifts silently. And when Allah finally unveils what He has been preparing, it arrives with precision and peace. So if you are in a silent phase, do not panic. Do not assume nothing is happening. Stay patient, stay grateful, stay connected. Keep praying even when it feels repetitive. Keep trusting even when assurance is missing. Because very often, Allah's greatest rewards arrive quietly, after long silence, exactly when the heart is ready to receive them. My dear brothers and sisters, there are experiences in life that leave you feeling shattered. Moments that changed you, words that cut deeply, losses that emptied your heart, and disappointments that made you question your strength. You look at yourself afterward and think, I am not the same anymore. And you are right. You are not. But what you often fail to realize is that what broke you was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to prepare you. Allah does not allow pain to touch your life without purpose. Every crack in the heart creates space for something new. Before hardship, many of us walk through life unaware of our weaknesses, attached to people and plans we believe are permanent. Then Allah removes what we relied on so that we finally rely on Him. The breaking is not cruelty, it is redirection. When something breaks, it exposes what was fragile. Through hardship, Allah shows you where your faith needed strengthening, where your expectations needed correction, and where your heart was attached too deeply to the creation instead of the Creator. This realization is painful, but it is necessary. Growth often begins with discomfort. Many people discover their true strength only after being pushed beyond what they thought they could handle. You survived nights you thought would destroy you. You carried pain you believed would end you, yet here you are. That endurance did not come from within you alone. It came from Allah placing strength in your heart at the moment you needed it most. The breaking revealed a resilience you did not know you had. What breaks you also humbles you. It removes arrogance, softens the heart, and increases empathy. Those who have been broken are often the ones who understand others the best. They listen without judgment, they comfort without words, and they love without conditions. Allah uses broken hearts to heal others. Your pain may become someone else's hope. Hardship also reshapes your priorities. Things that once felt essential lose their importance. You stop chasing what drains you and start valuing what nourishes your soul. Through pain, Allah clears distractions and focuses your heart on what truly matters. This clarity is a gift, though it arrives through difficulty. There are doors Allah will only open for the version of you that has been through struggle. The patience you developed, the wisdom you gained, and the faith you strengthened are all qualifications for what is coming next. Had you not been broken, you would not be ready to carry the responsibility of the blessing ahead. Allah prepares His servants before He promotes them. Sometimes the breaking is what saves you. A relationship ends that would have destroyed your faith. A dream collapses that would have led you away from Allah. A plan fails that would have harmed your future. At the time it feels unbearable. Later you realize Allah rescued you in the only way you would understand, by letting it fall apart. Allah is gentle, even in breaking. He does not shatter you beyond repair. He allows you to bend, to crack, to feel, but He also places healing alongside pain. With every hardship, He sends lessons, support, and moments of ease. The brokenness is temporary. The growth is lasting. One day, you will look back at what hurt you most and say, that moment shaped me. You will see how Allah used your pain to deepen your faith, strengthen your character, and align you with a path better than the one you lost. You will realize that what you thought was the end was actually preparation. So do not despise the moments that broke you. Do not regret the tears of the struggle. Allah was building something within you that comfort alone could never build. What broke you was shaping you, strengthening you, and preparing you for a future filled with wisdom, purpose, and reward. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the most beautiful realities of trusting Allah is realizing that His relief rarely comes in the way we imagine. We plan, we visualize, we expect help to arrive through familiar doors, predictable people, and logical outcomes. And when those doors remain closed, we feel disappointed, thinking our du'as have gone unanswered. But Allah's wisdom is far greater than our expectations. Relief comes in ways you never planned. Allah does not limit Himself to your imagination. He is not restricted by your fears, your experiences, or your past failures. When He decides to ease your hardship, He can do so through a path you never considered, a person you never expected, or a change you never anticipated. This is why relying on Allah brings both humility and peace. You accept that the solution may not look the way you wanted, but it will always be what you needed. Many times Allah closes the door you are knocking on because the relief was never meant to come from there. You may be focused on one outcome, one person, one opportunity, while Allah is guiding you towards something far better. But because your heart is attached to what you know, you struggle to recognize the mercy hidden in redirection. Allah removes what you insist on so that you can receive what you truly deserve. Sometimes relief comes as removal rather than addition. Allah lifts a burden by taking something away, an unhealthy attachment, a toxic environment, a harmful habit, or a false expectation. At first, the loss feels painful. You mourn what left. But over time, you realize that your heart feels lighter, your faith feels stronger, and your peace returns. That was relief, even though it did not look like a gift. At other times, relief comes internally before it comes externally. The situation may remain the same, but your heart changes. You gain strength, acceptance, and calm. What once overwhelmed you no longer controls you. This inner peace is one of the greatest forms of relief because it cannot be taken away by people or circumstances. Allah gives you a heart that can carry what once crushed you. Allah also sends relief through people you never expected. A kind word from a stranger, advice from someone you barely know, or support from a place you never looked. Allah places compassion in hearts and connects souls in ways that cannot be planned. When relief comes through unexpected people, it reminds you that Allah controls hearts, not you. Sometimes relief comes disguised as delay. You are kept waiting because if the situation changed too quickly, you would miss the lesson or repeat the mistake. Allah allows time to shape you so that when relief arrives, you are wise enough to protect it. Delay is not denial, it is refinement. There are moments when all changes your direction completely. What you thought was your path ends and a new one opens that you never imagined walking. At first, it feels like loss and confusion. Later, you realize that this new road brought you closer to Allah, gave you peace and saved you from future regret. This is relief in its most powerful form, relief that redirects your life. When relief comes unexpectedly, it strengthens faith. You realize that Allah was listening all along, even when you felt unheard. You see that He was arranging matters with precision, not randomness. This realization deepens trust and removes the fear of the future, because you know the same Allah who helped you then will help you again. So do not limit Allah to your expectations. Do not lose hope when things do not unfold the way you planned. Keep your heart open, your faith strong and your trust firm. Relief is on its way, and when it arrives, it may surprise you. But when it does, you will recognize it as perfect, because Allah's plans are always better than your own. My dear brothers and sisters, waiting is one of the heaviest burdens on the heart. Doing nothing feels harder than struggling. Moving forward feels easier than standing still. And yet, some of the greatest strength the believer ever develops is born in moments of waiting. The believer's heart grows strongest, not in instant relief, but in patient waiting. When you are forced to wait, you are stripped of control. You can no longer rush outcomes, force solutions, or rely on your own effort alone. This is where faith deepens. Waiting teaches you to hand matters over to Allah fully, not just in words, but in the quiet surrender of the heart. And that surrender strengthens you in ways ease never could. Waiting exposes what lives inside your heart. When answers are delayed, impatience, fear, hope, and trust all surface at once. Through this inner struggle, Allah trains your heart. You learn to restrain frustration, to calm anxiety, and to return to dua again and again. Each time you choose trust over panic, your heart becomes stronger. A heart that waits with faith learns endurance. It learns how to carry uncertainty without breaking. This is not weakness, it is resilience. Anyone can remain calm when outcomes are clear. But to remain steady when the future is unclear requires deep iman. Allah builds this kind of strength slowly, layer by layer, through waiting. Waiting also purifies intention. When results are instant, it is easy to confuse reliance on Allah with reliance on outcomes. But when waiting is prolonged, you are forced to ask yourself, do I trust Allah only when He gives? Or do I trust Him even when He withholds? This question reshapes your relationship with Allah. True faith is loving Allah not just for His gifts, but for His wisdom. Through waiting, you develop emotional maturity. You stop reacting impulsively. You learn to sit with discomfort without making decisions you will regret later. Many mistakes are made out of desperation. Allah protects you from these mistakes by slowing you down. What feels like delay may actually be divine restraint, saving you from choices that would harm you. The believer's heart also grows softer in waiting. When you wait, you become more aware of your need for Allah. Pride fades. Self-sufficiency dissolves. You begin to see your weakness clearly, and in that weakness, you discover Allah's strength. This softness is not fragility, it is humility, and humility is beloved to Allah. Waiting increases reward. Every moment you remain patient, every day you hold your tongue, every night you raise your hands in dua is being counted. The longer the wait, the greater the potential reward. Allah multiplies the reward of patience without measure. What feels heavy now may translate into unimaginable reward later. Waiting also prepares you to value what comes next. Those who receive without waiting often take blessings lightly, but those who waited know the cost. They protect what Allah gives, remain grateful, and do not waste what came through hardship. Allah allows waiting so that blessings are received with humility rather than entitlement. Even when waiting feels lonely, you are not alone. Allah is with you in every moment of uncertainty. He hears the unspoken prayers, the quiet tears, the thoughts you cannot put into words. This awareness builds a unique closeness with Allah, a bond formed not through ease, but through endurance. So if you are waiting today, do not think nothing is happening. Your heart is being trained. Your faith is being strengthened. Your reward is growing. The believer who waits with trust is being prepared for something meaningful. And when the waiting ends, you will not only receive what Allah decreed, you will receive it with a heart stronger than you ever imagined. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the most powerful realities of faith is understanding that Allah's help often arrives suddenly, without warning, and in ways we could never predict. Many of us imagine that relief will come gradually, step by step, or that we will see clear signs before ease reaches us. But this is not always the way of Allah. Sometimes, after long patience, after silent prayers and repeated struggles, Allah's help descends suddenly, like a flood that lifts everything in its path. It may appear out of nowhere, but it is perfectly timed, perfectly measured, and perfectly suited to your heart and situation. The suddenness of Allah's help is part of His mercy. When He gives, He does not merely provide what we asked for. He overwhelms us with blessings in a way that reminds us of His power and care. You may have been waiting for years for a solution, repeating the same prayers and holding on with fragile hope. Then one day, in a moment you least expect, relief comes. Perhaps it is through a phone call, an unexpected meeting, an opportunity, or even a change in your own heart. The timing is always precise. Allah does not make mistakes. Many people fail to recognize the sudden help of Allah because they are looking for it in the wrong way. They expect it to look like what they imagined, to arrive in a familiar package, or to confirm their human logic. But Allah is not limited by imagination. He's the most generous, the all-wise, and His ways often surpass our understanding. What we think is too late may be exactly on time, and what we consider impossible may become inevitable. The suddenness of Allah's help also strengthens faith. When relief arrives unexpectedly, it reminds the heart that it is not effort alone that brings change. It is Allah. It teaches humility, gratitude, and reliance. It shows us that no matter how long the struggle, no matter how deep the despair, the Creator of the heavens and the earth is always watching, always listening, and always able to intervene. Sometimes Allah's help comes in subtle ways that accumulate quietly before they manifest. Perhaps a door opens, a relationship shifts, or an inner strength awakens, and suddenly the entire situation transforms. What once seemed impossible becomes achievable. What once felt like an endless wait suddenly resolves. Allah's timing is perfect because He sees the whole picture, the dangers, the blessings, and the wisdom that we cannot. The sudden arrival of help is also a test of gratitude. When relief comes swiftly, without warning, our hearts are reminded to acknowledge Allah's mercy and favor. It is not just about achieving what we prayed for, but about recognizing that everything belongs to Allah and that our dependence is on Him alone. A heart that has been tested and patiently waited is ready to fully appreciate the gift when it arrives. Allah's sudden help can transform your life entirely. It can remove the burden you carried for years, redirect your path, or give you the strength to overcome a challenge that seemed insurmountable. But it is essential to remember that this help often arrives after silence, after struggle, and after patience. The preparation is part of the blessing. If Allah helped immediately without testing your endurance or refining your heart, the reward might not have been complete. Therefore, hold on tightly to hope. Do not despair. Even if nothing seems to change, keep praying, keep trusting, and keep striving. Every moment of patience and every tear shed in faith is a seed planted for the sudden mercy that is coming. When it arrives, you will realize that the wait, the struggle, and the silent prayers were all essential. They made your heart ready to receive the blessing in its fullness. Know this clearly: when patience reaches its limit, Allah's help arrives suddenly. It may surprise you, overwhelm you, and transform you. And in that moment, you will understand the truth of His wisdom, the power of His mercy, and the beauty of His timing. Allah is never late. He is never unaware. And when the time is right, His help comes, swift and perfect, just as He promised. My dear brothers and sisters, as we reflect on all that we have discussed today, a clear and powerful truth emerges. Patience is never wasted. Delay is never denial. And hardship is never a sign of abandonment. Every trial, every moment of waiting, every tear, and every silent prayer is being recorded, valued, and multiplied by the Most Merciful. Allah's wisdom surpasses our understanding, and His timing is always perfect. We have learned that what breaks us, shapes us, what tests us, strengthens us, and what delays us often prepares us for blessings, far greater than we can imagine. Relief often comes quietly, unexpectedly, or in ways we never planned, but it always comes at the perfect moment. Even when our hearts are weary, even when our patience feels exhausted, Allah's mercy is near and His help is imminent. The central message of this speech is simple, yet profound. Trust Allah fully, remain steadfast in patience and never lose hope. Keep praying, keep striving and keep relying on Him, because the time of patience is not wasted. It is building, refining and preparing you. And very soon, by Allah's grace, your efforts will bear fruit, your struggles will turn into ease, and your prayers will be answered in ways beyond your imagination. So, hold on firmly to hope, embrace the journey of patience, and trust the One who never forgets, never abandons, and never fails. Your reward is coming, and when it arrives, it will be perfect, complete, and filled with the mercy and wisdom of Allah. This is the ultimate promise for those who remain patient, steadfast, and trusting.